Hi guys, thanks for tuning back into a little bit more of Crenshaw. If you're following along, we're on chapter 33, page 151. Saturday morning, I woke up and went into the living room and found a big empty spot where our TV had been. The room looked naked without it. My dad was making breakfast, pancakes and bacons. We hadn't had pancakes and bacon in a really long time. Robin was sitting at the kitchen table, Aretha was drooling, and Robin's chin was gooey with syrup. Daddy made pancakes shaped like ours for Robin. Do you have a letter preference? My dad asked me. He was using his cane, which meant he wasn't feeling great. Are you okay? I asked. The cane? He shrugged. Just a little insurance policy. I hugged him. Plain old circle pancakes would be great, I said. Where's Mom? Picked up an extra breakfast shift at Toast. Daddy sold the TV to Marisol, Robin said. She jutted out her lower lip to make sure we knew she wasn't happy. Marisol? I repeated. I saw her dad while I was taking out the trash, my dad said as he poured perfect circles of batter into a pan. We were talking about the game today and how his TV had conked out, and one thing led to another. He had the cash, I had the TV, and the rest is history. But how are you and I going to watch the game together? I asked. We're going to Best Buy it. I grabbed a strip of bacon. What's that mean? My dad adjusted the heat on the stove. Well, you'll see. Where there's a will, there's a way. Aretha liked watching Curious George, said Robin. She set down her plate and Aretha licked it clean. You may be interested to hear that Curious George began his existence as a character in a book, said my dad as he flipped a pancake. In any case, this family needs to spend more quality time together. You know, play cards maybe, or Monopoly. I like Chutes and Ladders, said Robin. Me too. My dad tossed a little chunk of bacon to Aretha. Too much TV rots your brain. You love TV, I said while I started loading the dishwasher. Well, that's because TV's already rotted it. There's still hope for you two. It didn't take long for my breakfast to be ready. Nice work on the pancakes, I said. Thanks, I do have a certain flair. My dad pointed his spatula at me. I saw Marisol when Carlos and I were carrying in the TV. She said to remind you about the Grouchers dash hounds. Yeah, we're walking them tomorrow. Are dash hounds wiener dogs? Robin asked. Yes, ma'am, my dad said. You know, Jax, I haven't seen much of Dewan or Ryan or anybody else lately. What's up with that? I don't know. Dewan and Ryan are doing soccer camp. Everybody does different stuff in the summer. My dad put some dishes in the sink. His back was turned to me. I'm really sorry about soccer camp, Jax. Just couldn't swing it. No biggie, I said quickly. I'm kind of growing out of soccer. Yeah, my dad said softly. That happens. I stared at the sweet steam spinning from my pancakes. I tried hard not to think about Marisol our TV, feeling sorry for us while we played Chutes and Ladders and ate bran cereal out of a T-ball cap. And then I tried not to be annoyed at myself for worrying about something so unimportant. I grabbed my fork and knife and sliced up my pancakes. Whoa, said my dad. Ease up, Zorro. I looked up confused. Who's Zorro? Masked guy, good with swords. My dad pointed to my plate. You were getting a little carried away with the slice and dice action. I looked down at my pancakes. It was true. I'd destroyed them pretty well. But that wasn't what got my attention. In the middle of the plate, surrounded by maple syrup mush, were slices of pancake, neatly forming 8 letters. CRENSHAW. Maybe it was my imagination. Maybe not. In any case, I scarfed them down before anyone could notice. Chapter 34. After my mom came home, my dad and I headed for Best Buy. We stopped at the bank, and while my dad stood in line, I grabbed 2 free suckers, one for me and one for Robin. I always pick purple. If there are no purples, reds are pretty good. I'm not a big fan of yellows. We were lucky to live in Northern California, I figured. It's really beautiful except for when there are wildfires or mudslides or earthquakes. Even better, it's a great place to find free food if you know where to look. The farmers market at the Civic Center parking lot is a great spot because they give you samples, things like honey in a straw or peanut brittle. Grocery stores are good too, the ones where they have free cantaloupe slices on a toothpick. Our local hardware store gives away little bags of popcorn on Saturdays, so that's an option if you get there early enough. If you're hungry, you wouldn't want to live in Alaska, I'll bet. They probably don't have outdoor farmers markets very often, although in Alaska they do have grizzly bears. I would very much enjoy meeting one of those guys. From a nice safe distance, a grizzly bear's front claws can be 4 inches long. Around here, it's easier to be hungry in winter than in summer. Most people wouldn't expect that, but during the school year you can get free breakfast and lunch and sometimes after school snacks. Last year they stopped having summer school because there wasn't enough money, so that means no breakfast or lunch when school's out. They do not have free food at the community center food pantry, but that's pretty far away. My dad doesn't like to go there. He says he doesn't want to take food from people who really need it. But I think maybe he doesn't like to go because everyone in line looks so tired and sad. After the bank, we went to Best Buy, which is this giant store filled with TVs and computers and cell phones and things. There were 2 long rows of TVs. Some were huge, taller than Robin, and every one of them was set to the same channel. I guess there are a lot of Giants fans working at the store. When Matt Cain pitched a curveball, 20 balls flew across 20 screens. One TV sky was a deeper blue, one TV field was a softer green, but the moments were all the same. It was like being in a house of mirrors at the county fair. Lots of people paused to watch the game with us. The clerks watched too, and they could get away when they could get away with it. When one of them asked my dad if he had any questions about the TVs, he said we were just looking. During the 4th inning, something weird happened. Extremely weird. On everybody else's TV, there were 2 announcers sitting in a booth. They were wearing black headphones, and they were pretty psyched about a triple play. On my TV, there were 2 announcers sitting in a booth. They had black headphones, and they were excited too. But on my TV, one of the announcers was a cat, a big cat. "Crenshaw," I said under my breath. He was looking right at me. He waved his paw. I looked at my dad's TV. I looked at all the other TVs. None of their announcers were giant cats. "Dad?" I sort of gulped the word. "Did you see that?" he asked. "Amazing." I saw something else too. Crenshaw was holding up 2 fingers, making rabbit ears behind the other announcer's head. Weird, I thought, a cat having fingers? I'd forgotten Crenshaw had them. Weird, I thought, me worrying about that. "You didn't happen to just see a cat just now, did you?" I asked in a casual voice. "Cat?" my dad repeated. "You mean on the field or something?" The cat standing on his head," I said, because that's what Crenshaw was doing. A headstand on a desk. He was really good at it, too. My dad grinned. "The cat standing on his head," he repeated. He looked at my TV. "Right. Just messing with you," I said. My voice was trembling a little. I changed the channel. That new Friskies commercial was on." My dad ruffled my hair. He looked at me. Really looked at me. The way only parents can do. "You feeling okay, Muddy?" he asked. "I know things have been a little crazy lately." You have no idea, I thought. I smiled an extra big fake smile that I use on my parents sometimes. "Totally," I said. The Giants won 6-3. Chapter 35. When the game was over, we drove to Pet Food Express. All the way there, I thought about Crenshaw. There's always a logical explanation, I told myself. Always. Maybe I dozed off for a minute and dreamed him up. Or maybe, just maybe, I was going completely bonkers. My dad was tired from standing so long at Best Buy, so I said I'd go get Aretha's dog food. Smallest, cheapest bag, my dad reminded me. Smallest and cheapest, I nodded. It was cool and quiet inside. I walked past shelf after shelf of dog food. Some contained turkey and cranberries, some had salmon or tuna or buffalo for dogs who were allergic to chicken. They even had dog food made with kangaroo meat. Near the food, I saw a rack of dog sweaters. They said things like, hot dog and I'm a great catch. Next to them were sparkly pet collars and harnesses. Aretha would never be caught dead in one of those, I thought. Pets don't care about sparkles. What a waste of money. I passed a display of dog cookies shaped like bones of cat. I passed a display of dog cookies shaped like bones and cats and squirrels. They looked better than some human cookies. And then, I don't know why, my hand started moving. It grabbed one of those stupid cookies. The cookie was shaped like a cat. Next thing I knew, that cookie was in my pocket. Down the aisle, a clerk in a red vest was on his hands and knees in front of the dog toys. He was wiping up dog pee while a customer's poodle puppy licked his face. Collars are half off, the clerk called to me. I kind of froze. And then I said I was just looking. I wondered if he'd seen me take that cookie. It didn't sound like it, but I couldn't be sure. You know, scientists found that dogs maybe really do laugh, I said. My words were spilling out like pennies from a holy pocket. They make this noise when they're playing. It's not exactly panting, more like a puffing sound sort of, but they think it could be dog laughter. No kidding, the clerk said. He sounded grumpy. Maybe because the puppy had just peed on his shoe. The puppy scrambled over to nose me. He was dragging a boy who looked about 4 years old. The boy was wearing dinosaur slippers. His nose was running big time. He's wagging, the boy said. He likes you. I read somewhere that when a dog's tail wags to his right, it means he's feeling happy about something, I said. Left, not so much. The clerk stood. He was holding a wad of paper towel in his outstretched hand like it was nuclear waste. I made myself meet his eyes. I felt hot and shaky. Where's the dog chow? The stuff in the red bag with the green stripes? I asked. Aisle 9. You know lots about dogs, the little boy said to me. I'm going to be an animal scientist, I told him. I have to know lots. I have a sore throat, but it's not strep, the boy said, wiping his nose with the back of his hand. My mom is buying food for King Kong. That's our guinea pig. Good name. And this is Turbo. Also a good name. I reached into my pocket and felt the cookie there. My eyes burned and blurred. I sniffled. You have a cold too? The boy asked. Something like that. I let Turbo lick my hand and headed to the back. He's wagging to the right, I think, the boy called. All right, we're going to have to pause there on chapter 36. Tune in next time for a little bit more of Crenshaw. Don't forget to like and subscribe.